Hey everyone, I'm Nisha and I'm the South Asian Mystic, and welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I made a video. I think it's been about 2 weeks, I guess. I don't remember. So today I just thought I'd do something a little different, in the sense that I'm gonna let you take a peek at my altar. And here it is. This is my altar. Now, my altar is a private place, and I don't usually really do a close-up view of my altar. But if you have watched my previous videos, you will see that my altar does make an appearance sometimes, especially in the background. So you will have seen it, behind me. You will have seen the candle, and probably the altar is sort of visible. But I thought I'd just talk to you a little bit about my altar so that I can give you a sense of how you can build your own customized altar when you're a practitioner, and what you can do, what elements that you can add to your altar, what you can change up, and how you can change things up, and so on. So let's get right into it. So now if you actually see my altar, you will see that it's pretty heavy on religious iconography. So for example, we have one small Ganesha statue over here, another larger Ganesha statue that's made over there. And if you can see, let me just see if I can bring this over here. This little Lakshmi statue. And over here, this is the Saraswati statue. So these are the four major religious iconography that you will see on my altar, and that's because these are the three deities and four iconography. That is four statues but three deities, two of Ganesha, one of Lakshmi, and one of Saraswati. That's because these are the three deities that I work with predominantly, because Ganesha is my patron deity. I have adopted Ganesha as my patron deity. Ganesha is one of my most favorite deities, and that stems a lot from my love for elephants. So in case you have not seen this, I don't know if it's visible. As you can see, I've even got a tattoo of an elephant and a calf over here. That is how much I love elephants, and you will see a lot of elephant symbology in my bedroom, and in my workspace, and in lots of other areas. I have a lot of wooden elephant statues. I have elephant knickknacks and so on. So it just kind of made sense that Ganesha became my favorite deity since I was a child. Apart from this, I love working with Goddess Saraswati, because Goddess Saraswati is the goddess of wisdom, goddess of learning, and also patron goddess of speech. And as someone who really loves to read, loves to acquire new knowledge, get deep into the nuances of learning, and also someone who loves to share my learning with other people, especially through videos and audios and other sorts of content. Goddess Saraswati is one of the pivotal entities that I work with, to ensure that I learn better and I'm able to give holistic information to other people. And finally, there's Goddess Lakshmi, because prosperity is important. Goddess Lakshmi is the goddess of the householder, and also of individuals who seek material wealth and material comfort. So this doesn't necessarily have to do only with money. A lot of times Lakshmi is associated only with money, but Goddess Lakshmi is essentially the goddess of a household. So it could be in the form of having a good family, having other benefits apart from money, that material benefits, all sorts of material benefits. That's what she embodies. So for me, these three are really important deities. So you'll see that my altar has a very strong symbolism of a religious iconography. Now, you don't necessarily need to have your altar with religious iconography. If you are an atheist practitioner, you don't really need religious iconography. If you are a non-Hindu practitioner but you do believe in deities, you can use your own deities, their iconography, be it in the form of photos or statues, or any other sort of maybe even natural elements that represent them. So you can use any of those and you can put them up on your altar. Another thing that you'll notice on my altar is that I keep animal figurines. So one figurine you can see right here. I'm just going to move this a little bit. this little cutie pie right here. As you can see, this one is actually made of metal, multiple metals, and this silver is actually mercury. I got this as a gift from my sister when we'd gone on a trip, and this actually is from one of the indigenous tribes of India, and it's just absolutely beautiful. And you know, like I said, I love elephants, so this was one of the first things that I put up on my altar when I got it. So I always have this over here. Another animal that I have on my altar is, hold on, it's just hiding somewhere here, is this one, which is a cow with a calf. Isn't this the most precious thing in the world? Right, look at how beautiful this calf is, and it's just trying to feed, suckle from its mother. And as you can see the udder. You can see how beautifully sculpted the cow is. And for those of you who are familiar with Hindu iconography, you know how important the cow is to Hinduism. We consider cow as the divine mother, and essentially that's because the cow gives us milk, out of which so many other food items can be made. You know, curd, paneer, tofu, butter, buttermilk, and so on. And to a large extent, even today, milk and milk products are actually one of the most reasonable food products that you can get in India. And for a lot of people who are from really poor families or economically backward families, the milk from a cow actually feeds their entire families on a very small budget, and therefore the cow is definitely like a mother. So I really loved the symbology of the mother and child imagery that is there, because I just really felt this maternal pull when I purchased, or when I actually first saw this at a local fair, and I was like, I need to get this right now, and I needed it for my altar, and it's just absolutely beautiful. So these two are the animal imagery that you will find on my altar. Another thing that you'll find are my cards. So now you can see there are 3 cards that I've placed over here. Now typically I do usually keep a tarot card as well, but at this stage for this particular working, I'm using another 3 oracle cards. Now the way I divide my or rather the way I choose the cards that I want to put up on my altar is basically based on the energies that I'm working with right now. So for example, for the months of January and February 2022, I worked with the energy of summer, because summer was just starting, and I worked with the energy of the golden egg, which represents the throat chakra. So to me, that was about being energetic, explosive in your approach towards life and towards letting your voice shine. And incidentally, for those of you who don't know, I work a lot of spells and magical rituals using my cards, and by working with summer and the golden egg card, which represents the throat chakra, I was able to create so much content on YouTube. And in fact, if you go check it out, you will see that my number of videos for the months of January and February 2022 are the highest compared to whenever I've started this YouTube channel, which was about a year ago. So I was really able to manifest my desire to really put myself out there and to let my voice shine. And now for March, I have decided to work with these 3 cards, which is Spring, Young Adult, and I Accept. So I'm just going to give you a brief explanation about what these 3 cards are for, so that you get an idea of how you can use your tarot cards, your oracle cards, to create your own altar energies. So spring is the element that is coming in across the world, except for the southern hemisphere. In most parts of the northern hemisphere, it's the spring summer season. And to me, spring represents new growth, something that's been hidden, that needs to be germinated, that needs to come into focus, that needs to grow, that needs to be expressed. That's what spring represents, and that's the card that you'll see right here. Now, what about young adult? Now, spring energy can be so fertile and fecundant, and it's so expansive in its reach. And spring also represents not just the growth, that is the initial stages, but the various stages that take a seed to complete germination. And I wanted to really focus on the young adult, that is the younger years, not complete babyhood, but the sort of pre-adolescent energy and adolescent energy that comes with growth and something, manifesting. And the reason that I have chosen the young adult energy is because to me, young adult age or the stage of life, the young adult stage of life, is the stage where an individual is always at their most curious. They are discovering themselves, they're discovering new parts of themselves, they are defining their personality, they are trying to forge their own path. Nothing is set in stone yet, and the stresses of adulthood haven't really come onto them yet. So they have this freedom and this expansiveness to go out and figure things out for themselves and to figure out what they want out of life before they get rooted in a particular lane or in a particular spot that leads to adulthood, adulting, and adult relationships and adult responsibilities. So for me, the energy that I wanted to capture with the spring and the young adult was that I wanted to allow my latent talents to germinate and to come forward, and I wanted the young adult energy to push me to get out of my comfort zone so that I could experiment with what I want to, so that I could discover myself, rediscover myself, and define myself once again. So that's the energy that I wanted to encapsulate for this altar. And this card that you see right here is called the I Accept. Now this card, let's just read what it says. I accept what is done and what is past, because each moment is, was, and will be tailoring the fabric of my beautiful existence. I let go of punishing myself. I forgive my regrets. I approve. I accept. I permit. So this is one of the human and delicate cards that I have actually done a walkthrough of. And I'll put up the link somewhere so that you can go take a look. I'll also put up a link of the living altar so you could take a look. So basically what this card represents is a indication of my willingness and my ability to forgive my mistakes of the past. Because like I said, the whole point of spring is to allow a new version of myself or a hidden version of myself to germinate, to manifest, to grow, to come out and to come into itself. And I'm acknowledging with the I Accept card that in the past I may have ignored certain aspects of my personality. I may have ignored certain growth needs that needed attention, but I didn't pay attention to them. And I may have let go of opportunities that could have benefited me tremendously, but that's okay. I accept that I have made these decisions. I accept that I have walked certain paths while I've ignored the rest. And that's okay, because that's made me who I am today. That's given me a lot of growth in one particular way, and I am grateful for this growth. I'm grateful for this experience. But now let the energy of spring, let the energy of young adult take over, so that I can explore the unexplored parts of my personality as well. And I accept whatever changes that will come into my life in the future, and I accept that things are not going to be the same, that the version of me that's going to come out at the end of this period, once I finish working with these cards, will be completely different from who I am right now. So that's what this card represents. So that's basically how I work with these three cards, or rather any cards. Sometimes I work with tarot cards as well, and I put up the tarot cards if I want a really specific action that I want to achieve. So for example, a couple of months ago I had worked with I think it was the 5 of Wands. I'm not really sure, I don't remember correctly. And I had worked with the tarot card along with one of the living altar cards. The living altar cards are always on my altar because those are really powerful cards that really encapsulate my magic. And so that was something that I really kept there. And I think I had worked with the 5 of Wands, if I remember correctly. I know it was the Wands energy because that month was really filled with a lot of inspiration and ideas and just churning of emotions. It was a very fiery energy at that time. And so that if I want a specific action to manifest, that's when I use tarot cards, because I believe like tarot cards are more action oriented, whereas oracle cards have this very open energy that it just gives a passage for the magical energies in the universe to work without pegging them down to specific events or actions. Rather, these oracle cards, just like I said, they give you the way towards which direction you need to proceed, but they give you also freedom in terms of how the results can manifest. So that's something that I use. And now another thing that's always on my altar is my singing bowl. So let me just put this aside for a minute so that you can actually see the singing bowl. And here you go. This is a singing bowl that I actually purchased at a local fair, where I also purchased the cow figurine. So I use the singing bowl for in two ways. One is to break down the negative energies and break down the old crusty energy that is there from my previous workings, and also to cleanse the space and to charge it. So I use two techniques for using the singing bowl. One is just the gentle tap technique. So I keep tapping the any number of times that I require, and I imagine that with each tap, one of those crusty, moldy, old energy that is still prevalent, from my previous working, it goes away. So every time I tap, I imagine the old energy just crumbling and breaking down. And if I want to really supercharge and really, if I feel like one space of my altar or my energetic space is just not becoming clear, for example, or it's not becoming charged, then I use this technique. So I keep doing this particular type of sounding so that until I really feel like the sound waves have pierced the negative energy and they've removed it and they've charged whichever space or whichever object that I'm working with. So, and these two, I always make it a point to cleanse them with incense so that the singing bowl itself is charged at all times. So, so singing bowl is something that's always on my altar. And this is the candle holder. I have not switched it on today. Honestly, I forgot to switch on, light up the candle today. But this is the beautiful candle holder that I received in my mystery box from the Lilith store. I will put up a link over here to see the video of the unboxing of the Feb 2022 mystery box. And this was actually really good. Just yesterday I did a working with this candle holder. Oof. I live in this space where there's a lot of traffic, so please forgive me if you hear traffic at any time. So I used this candle holder on one of my workings yesterday, and that was the first time I had used this candle holder, and it turned out to be really good. And I just realized, people, because I don't have a lot of experience with candle holders, I used to just stick it on the floor, the candle, before. Glass candle holders are infinitely better compared to the ceramic candle holders or any other sort of clay candle holders. So if you want to get a candle holder for the very first time, trust me, just get the glass one. You will thank me for it. Okay. Another thing that is always on my altar is a candle. This particular candle has been, again, this one is again from the Lilith store that I purchased. And this one has again been on my altar for a really long time now, for the past 2 months. And it's just so good. It smells really amazing. And it's just chock full of fragrances and herbs and so on. So once this is done, if there's any leftover candle, I actually collect candle wax. So when I'm using candles for fire magic and candle spells, I collect leftover candle wax and I keep it aside, so that once I'm done with a candle, I can just melt it, pour it back in a bowl like this, and just insert a wick. I can reuse it. So you can keep doing that. You can keep reusing your candles and not throw away your candle wax, especially if large globules of candle wax are falling down. It just doesn't make economic sense to throw it away. So just save it, keep it in a just let it cool down completely. Of course, it is going to get hard. Let it cool down completely. Then once it's cooled down, just keep it in a paper cover or a plastic wrap and just set it aside. And when a box like this or a bowl like this is finished, you can just melt the candle wax in a separate bowl, put it inside this, or maybe you can even melt this. You can heat this, just doesn't heat up that bad. And you can melt that and you can put it in, and you can always purchase another wick. Or you can even make a cotton wick. So if you have a strand of cotton, just dip it in oil and just make it into a wick and just put it inside of this, and you're good to go. So this is something that I always have. I always have a candle, like a bowl candle, apart from the candle holder, because the candle holder is usually the active working element of my spell, whereas the bowl candle is always the passive, just light energy that I keep on my altar. Another thing that I have on my altar is this one, is the Om symbol, which is a very important symbol in Hinduism. It represents various energies, and yeah, it is a pretty old one. I actually got it from my Sanctum Sanctorum. So for those of you who don't know, all Hindu households, especially in India and South Asia, we have a Sanctum Sanctorum, which is like basically a smaller temple in each of our houses. So that's where the god resides, the gods of our house reside. And this one was kept over there, and I just asked my family if I could pick this up, and they said yes. And so this one came onto my altar. So for me, I have a very, so for those of you who know me, you know that I am very focused on developing a South Asian and Indian brand of magic, a Hindu brand of magic, so a Hindu brand of spiritual practice. So that's why I have a lot of Hindu-based elements over here. But again, if you are creating your own altar, you don't need to be this denominational. You can be completely non-denominational as well, and just decorate it with whatever elements that you like. All right, let's keep moving. We are just a few more items away from completing the altar exploration. Another thing that I have is crystals. Now, at the moment, I'm working with these two crystals. So this is the moonstone, and this is the orange carnelian. Isn't this gorgeous? And this is the moonstone once again. So at the moment, I'm working with these two, but I have a bunch of other crystals that I use on rotation depending on what energies I'm working with. So these two are currently what I'm working with right now. And I had placed these crystals on my altar tile, which was again something that I got from the Lilith store. This is just beautiful, right? So this isn't really, I know they call this tree of life, but I don't think this is the tree of life. But I look at this altar tile to represent botanical energy, and especially tree energy in particular. I don't particularly consider this to be the tree of life. I just really like the tree energy that comes from this altar tile is very nice. I can really feel a sense of connectedness and calmness when I hold this altar tile, and that's why I really like it. So this altar tile is always on my altar space, and usually I use this to charge my crystals, or put up my offerings. If I'm putting up any offerings for the deities, I usually put that there, and yeah, that it just usually remains there. So there you go. So these are, yep, so this is the end of the altar space exploration. So yeah, this is what is usually on my altar, and you can create an altar similar to this as well. Like I mentioned, you don't have to create a denominational one. You can have a completely non-denominational one. So for example, the crystals are non-denominational, the altar tile is non-denominational, cards are non-denominational, singing bowl is denominational because it does come from Buddhism, but I've seen a lot of people use it. Candles and candle holders, again non-denominational, so you can keep using those. You can even keep your book of shadows over here. That would make a really good addition to your altar space, especially if you like doing bibliomancy and sigil work and a lot of written based practices. So that's really good. In terms of placement, my altar is placed next to my book rack, and you can actually see at the corner over here, I don't know if you can see my hand. Yeah, oh yeah, you can see a section of the book racks over here. So that's because I work with a lot of books. I love to read, and books are a really important part of my spiritual practice. So I've kept my altar next to my book rack itself, so the energy of the altar can feed into the books, and the energy of the books can feed into the altar. So yeah, you can make your altar as busy as this or even busier. I have seen altars where people just decorate with absolutely beautiful elements, whether it's fresh flowers or even the plastic flowers and vines. They put crystals in decorative patterns. They put gauze and fairy lights and all those things. You can do that as well. Mine is just busy in terms of the space because my altar space is really small. It's just like a tiny cupboard on top of which I placed it. But you can use up a vast part of your room for the altar space. And if you don't want to work with this, you can work using a mobile altar as well. For example, using a bowl like this as well. Now this is my crystal bowl where I keep all of my crystals, but you can definitely use a bowl like this to carry a working remote moving altar as well. So yeah, and you can keep protective elements over here. So for example, this is the protective element that I have over here, which is always there to protect my altar space from negative eye, and also from protecting my books as well from the negative eye. So I have that as well. I have a lot of other stuff that, you know, in terms of artworks and other cards that I keep placed around the altar at all times. But this is basically what my main altar looks like. The reason that I decided to become public with my altar today is because I wanted to give you a sense of what your altar could look like, or what your altar, you know, it need not necessarily look like this, but you can use these inputs as a way to build your own altar. That's what I always say. Although you've seen my video, and I'm sure you'll have seen millions of other videos, make your altar your own, because your own altar is what gives you your most power. Your own altar, which is customized to suit your beliefs and your expectations and your needs, that's the altar that gives the most power. So even if I tell you to I'm never going to tell you to do XYZ, because I don't believe in that. I believe in your own individuality and your own creative freedom. But if somebody else tells you that, you know, your altar should have, let's say the 4 elements should always be represented on 4 corners of the altar, you must have them. Not necessarily, because you don't have to work with every element all the time. You don't have to have specific elements fixed on your altar all the time. Your altar could be something entirely different. So if you work with a specific energy, let's say fire or water, earth or air, or whichever specific energy, you can do that. If you want to work with all 4 of them, you can have all 4 of them. And if you don't want to work with elements at all, then don't keep the elements on your altar space. Doesn't really matter. And you know, your altar could be just a single pen or pencil that's placed on a table, and you just cleanse and charge it, because you know, your pen or your pencil is your greatest tool, because you love to work with writing magic, with sigil magic, with mandalas, with rangolis and so on. So your altar could be anything that you want. So yeah, this is my altar. I hope you feel the blessings and the positive vibes coming from it. I'm sending you blessings your way, and if you are inspired to create an altar after seeing this, then I do hope that you will let me know in the comments below, and share your altar images on your YouTube channel or on your Instagram channel, so that I can see what kind of altars you have. Alright then, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Blessed be. Bye bye.